Yes, guys, beautiful stuff. Let's talk some Married at First Sight, mate. Yes, guys, you're welcome to Little Black Book 91. We're giving you guys another video. We're talking about Married at First Sight. Let me just bring it down so you got it. All right, we're talking about Married at First Sight, the latest episode that just went past. We're going to be talking about Luca and Morag. We're going to be talking about Frankie and Marlese, Amy and Josh. And just kind of breaking down some of the stuff that's happened in the relationship. Again, as always, guys, if you want to join the conversation, please do send me a request. We will be happy to accommodate you. Do you get me? I don't know why it's not pinning my comment, for instance. But yeah, so, you know, this episode was a bit of a mad one. A bit of a mad one, weren't it? A bit of a crazy one. And it was interesting, right? Because obviously people got to meet parents, people got to meet the family. And we saw a different side of them. So let me just break down some of the stuff that happened for each couple. So we had Amy and Josh. And Amy and Josh have been having the same problems, which is that they're not really connecting because he's emotionally devoid. She's quite emotional. And I think first and foremost, the experts have to take some blame for this, all right? Because they knew that he was emotionally unavailable. Not that he doesn't do emotions very well. He was emotionally unavailable. He actually said it on the couch when they were asking him about being on the show. So how did you go as an expert to think, oh, putting him with Amy would be a sensible decision? And now we're seeing, I guess, what we call we're seeing the progression of how now when someone's emotionally unavailable, what happens, okay? So he's emotionally unavailable, emotionally lacking intelligence, okay? So when he's now coming into this relationship with Amy, he's struggling to connect with her, okay? And I'm not saying she's without fault, okay? Reader Falls, I appreciate you. I'm not saying that Amy is without fault. I'm not saying that Amy is perfect. What I am saying is I can see that she has some emotional intelligence. I can see she's able to express herself emotionally. And one of the very difficult things that our boy found about about the situation, one of the difficult things we saw with Amy, with Josh towards Amy, is that even the friends of Amy said themselves, this brother's struggling emotionally to explain himself. And I always say this, people who struggle to explain themselves emotionally act out, right? And it doesn't come out positively. This is why it's important to find language for what you're thinking and feeling. Otherwise, it becomes this intelligible behavior, unintelligible behavior that someone has to try and decipher through all the madness that's happened. And what we're seeing with Josh is he has a lack of vocabulary when it comes to his emotions and what he's feeling. Secondly, he behaves like a kid when he's dealing with Amy at points in time. Not all the time, but at points in time. When they were in the kitchen, the whole situation that was happening in the kitchen was an example of, bro, let it go. Okay? You know when you're starting to annoy someone, right? Let me take a little sip of that. You know when you're starting to annoy somebody and you're in their space, right? He just kept on going. He's putting bread in the fridge. He's putting fajitas in the freezer because he wants to annoy her. And at that point, you have to really think about it and go to yourself, why are you trying to annoy her? You know how she gets when she's annoyed, right? Like, this is no longer banter when you can see the person's now getting frustrated and getting annoyed. You should leave it alone. But he keeps on pressing the button. He keeps on trying to frustrate old girl. Sorry, turn on my TV. He keeps on trying to frustrate her. And when you do that, what all you're doing is further creating resentment from the other person. And he doesn't even know when to stop. This is when someone said fajitas, not fajita. You already know what it is, man. Fajitas as well. Okay. You already know that it's problematic when you can't decipher when and where and how long to play with your partner. All right. Old girl told you once, told you twice, stop doing what you're doing. You start becoming annoying. At that point, what you really should have done is just say, listen, hey, look, do you know what? I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave you, let you sort this out. I want you to calm down and I'm going to come back in, right? Now, she already expressed earlier on as well that she felt like she's explained to him that when she's getting frustrated, she wants a hug. I hear what you're saying, but sometimes we don't want to give you a hug. I'm going to be honest with you. If you're getting stressed, I don't want to have to start giving you hugs. Yes, because your stress now is making me stressed. Okay, so it can be very difficult sometimes to want to give that person a hug. Now, most importantly, what we're seeing with Amy and Josh is obviously he's also now dealing with her mood swings, right? She's also very highly emotionally strung. And that means that also little things trigger her. Little things take her over the edge. Little things make her annoyed. Little things cause her to react quite emotionally, right? And that can be very difficult to handle. And remember, because he's emotionally devoid, because he's emotionally unavailable, and because he's emotionally not really there, right? What's happening is when she does have her emotional spats or her emotions go left or right, he's unable to react in the manner that would save the situation, because he doesn't have the language, nor does he have the depth emotionally to deal with somebody who's being emotional in that regard. Which is why when you see him with the argument with Nikita earlier on in the season, the argument with Morag, he could argue from a very logical and unemotional place because he's not really in tune with his emotions. Okay, so in an argument, it's brilliant. He's working. It's fantastic to have that level of coolness. But when you're in a relationship, you have to have an intelligence when it comes to emotions and how you deal with it. That's why he missed his wife, crying earlier on the last episode, right? He missed it at the table because he doesn't connect well with emotions. Okay, so Josh also talks about the fact that he's a slow burner. He'll fall in love, in a few months' time. And I want to make it very, very clear. The fall in love a few months' time is really linked to emotional unavailability. This guy will fall in love maybe in a year's time, 2 years' time, but by then he's done so much damage to you, there is no point being in his relationship. Let me just put it very frankly for you. People that are emotionally unavailable, those who are unintelligent in emotional intelligence, let's not be dating them. Stay hydrated. Let's leave them alone, okay? Those who are emotionally devoid, emotionally unintelligent, emotionally lacking the ability to understand and comprehend emotions, let's leave them alone. Yeah, let them heal. All right, let them heal. Okay, let them heal. Let them go and sit on a bench somewhere and heal, as I always say to you. Okay, because he's doing the exact same thing over and over again. And what's happening now is that she's almost getting the ick. Everything that he does now is going to be annoying her, and it's annoying her because her love tank. Okay, her love tank has reached a bottom where it's critically low. You see, what happens in relationships is something that you have to be very wary of. Our love languages, they're like a love tank, and the love tank, when it starts to get dangerously low, we start to behave in very crazy ways. Okay, you're light, you're lacking some weight. You don't have the food to make you have the energy to deal with the situations you're dealing with. Imagine you are fasting, okay, for several days without food. Your body feels weak and dealing with certain situations that are exasperating and that are tiresome in energy. You will try to avoid them because you know you haven't got the energy for it. The same thing happens in love. When your love tank is critically low, you will struggle to want to deal with your partner in anything that's emotional, that's to do with love, that's to do with affection, that's to do with care. Your patience will go out the window because a love tank is at a critically low. This is why it's important to understand what your love language is and what their love language is, and consistently be filling up the tank so that when we get to critical points where we are at each other's head, we can actually have we can actually have enough energy to deal with one another and deal with the more difficult circumstances. Okay, I believe Amy and Josh are both at the critically low points of view. Another thing that Josh did that really disappointed me, but it shows up the level that he's at emotionally again, is when the friends actually questioned him and the girl said to him, "What is love to you?" And he said, "What's love to you? Magoon, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you asking the question back?" They are her friends asking you, what is love to you? And then you're throwing the question back to them to say, well, what's your definition of love? They're asking you the question. Now you're being purposely antagonistic and you're throwing the question back. What for? As if you didn't understand that question, you understood it. It's stuff like this, Josh, that is showing your immaturity. and showing a distinct lack of grace in these moments? Why was your back is against the wall with them asking you a simple question about what is love? What is love to you? You've already explained that you're not in love with Amy. Fine. But we're asking what is love to you? Right? And so the defensiveness came out just like it did on the couch when he's questioned. He needs to learn how to handle these particular situations with more grace. Okay? He needs to learn how to handle things with more grace. Okay, cool. And then we have Frankie and Marlese. I'll guide away. I won't be on here too long. But I might take a little question section after, do Q&A, relationship Q&A, see if you guys want to answer any questions. We have Frankie and Marlese, and with Frankie and Marlese, what we see with them too. Again, Frankie, unfortunately for me, again misses the mark. It is the way he describes what he's thinking and feeling. If I thought Josh was emotionally unintelligent, I think we're dealing with Frankie, who is unintelligent when it comes to knowing that certain things just shouldn't be said. Okay, there is no compliment in saying, I think what you said, Maz doesn't complain. And the tone, again, the way you said it, Maz doesn't complain. What does that mean? Maz doesn't complain. And so when I heard that, I said, no, sir. What you're doing right now, that's going to cause issues. And everybody was like, whoa, right? And again, it fits the profile of what we said for the past few weeks about Frankie and his behavior and potentially his controlling nature in some aspects and lack of awareness that some of his rhetoric is misogynistic almost, right? Let's keep it 100 real. And this whole Maz does not complain. What does that mean? I know what you mean. Okay, I know exactly what you mean, but again, the way it's come about, the tone, the way you've used the words in that instinct, again, show us again that you're not really deeping where you are in context and how you say something. And let me be very, very frank with you. The message is just as important, the tone of the message is just as important as the message itself. I've always said this to you guys. I said this all the time. I say, if I deliver your package to you in your hands, fantastic, I've delivered the package. But imagine the Amazon driver comes and throws a package at you and it hits your face. Yes, he's delivered the package, but how has he delivered it? Right? And could potentially the package be broken in some sense? Yes. How are you going to receive the package now? It's different. The tone, the delivery is important to the actual message. Okay? Let me tell you something. Even biblically, there was the messenger that was coming to David to tell David that Saul is dead. Yeah? There was a messenger that he was running like this, get excited to come and tell David, Saul is dead. Excited, not realizing what Saul meant to David. And what happened to that messenger? Dead. See, the message isn't the issue. It is the tone. So when you're delivering something, you really got to consider what words I'm using and how am I using those words so that I don't hurt the person. And so when he said, obviously, Maz doesn't complain, I said, oh, bro, you done messed it again. You done messed it again, bro. Like, you done messed it again. All right? Marlese also, as well, later on explains to her friends about how, there are some red flags. Now, we didn't get to see it, but I would have loved for her to explain a bit more in depth what those red flags were to her friends, because her friends were like, well, you don't want to just leave after the first sign of madness. No. There's been several signs of madness from Frankie. So I wouldn't blame Marlese for leaving, but I think the red flags that she's seen, unless you've gone through a very toxic and abusive relationship in the past, I think when you see these red flags, you will say, it's not that bad. As for me, because I've been in a toxic relationship before, and I've been in a controlling scenario with an abusive person, those red flags are not going to be something I'm going to ignore. Oh, darling. Oh, Jaja. Nope, I'm not ignoring that. Sorry. I'm going to have to draw on that. I'm going to be like, no, I can't deal with that. But Marlese hasn't seen those kind of red flags before. Maybe hasn't seen that level of toxicity before. And so what she's saying, what she's doing, she's giving them in a chance. It wouldn't be me though. Okay? Just because of what I've seen and what I've been through, it wouldn't be me. Okay. Cool. Final person we'll talk about is Luca and Morag. Chill out, let me get some water. Okay, Luca and Morag. Let me talk about them. So Luca and Morag, the interesting thing about them is that Luke is at a place where he said he is basically falling in love with Morag, and Morag's not there yet. Now, here's the thing. There is nothing wrong, and it happens in relationships all the time. I'm sure some of you can testify. If you know about, if this has happened to you, just put a little comment in the comment section. Just say yes in the comment section, where you've dated somebody and one of you has fallen faster than the other person. Okay, if you've experienced that, just put a little yes in the comment section. Let me know that you're alive. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you're here. Do you know what I'm saying? Get the fingers ticking, yeah? Just put a yes in the comment section if you've ever experienced either you or the other person you're dating has told you they love you and you're not there yet. Okay? Now, it's perfectly normal. It happens all the time. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, here's the issue, is that Morag looks like she might never get there. That's different. Morag is acting as if she may never get there. That's completely different to we are moving along the road. Thank you for your yeses. I appreciate that. It shows me that you're live. It is really different. No worries, thank you. I'll try and sing for you, Amina. It's really different when someone is not sure they're going to get there to someone who's saying, I'm not there yet, but I'm moving there. And the problem is this, Morag doesn't know if she can get there. That is the difficulty behind the situation. That's what makes it completely different to you dating someone and you're already there and they're coming along that journey and almost going to get there. Morag isn't almost going to get there. Morag just doesn't know if she can get there. Okay? She doesn't know she can get there. And that's the difficulty. I also want to talk about control here, and I want to talk about self-esteem and self-value. Luke, look at me right now, sir. Luke, look into my eyes. See my eyes. Look into my eyes, sir. Okay? Where you are, you're lacking value for self, and you're lacking identity for self, and you need to get it together. Okay? All right? You need to get it together. Why am I saying that? I said this from the very beginning when I watched him. I said, the moment Morag said to you about your dress sense, and she dragged you into a shop and started changing your dress sense, and you didn't stand up for yourself, I said you will open yourself up for control, and you will open yourself up to always do whatever Morag wants. We heard him say very, very clearly, Morag's happiness is important to me, as it should be. But the way it was said, and in the context it was said, it was almost said as if Morag's happiness is the most important thing, bar mine. Don't worry about mine. Don't worry about my happiness. Morag's happiness comes above mine. And whenever you have someone else's happiness above yours and it's not reciprocated in a servitude manner, you're going to get abuse. Okay? So now what we're seeing here with Luke is he's losing himself and he doesn't realize. He thinks he's finding himself. He keeps saying, oh, Morag helped me find myself. No, because hold on a minute. You wanted kids when you first started. You wanted kids when you first started, and then you've come to sit at the table in front of your mum and your dada, all right? In front of your mum and your dada, and you've told them, you know what, I don't really want kids anymore. You know what, that was, I didn't really know what I wanted at that point in time. You don't want kids because she don't want kids. You don't want kids because she don't want kids. You're already falling into what category of you're falling into a category of person who does whatever they need to do to keep the relationship. Therefore, you're placing this person on a pedestal. All right? This is why Morag can't respect you. Let me be very clear with you. Man, them, if you're listening to me, women never respect men that do everything. When I say everything, bow down and say yes to everything a woman says. Because you have no boundaries. Okay? When you concede every point, when you don't even really mean it, you are showing us nice guy signs, but you're showing us somebody who doesn't have boundaries, who doesn't have value for themselves and doesn't have their own opinion. Okay? You're basically worshipping this woman. That's what you're doing. Okay? You wanted kids, all of a sudden you don't want kids. Oh, I didn't know what I wanted. Don't lie. Don't lie to yourself because you're scared your mom's going to tell you she's not going to approve of this relationship. Don't do it. Don't do it, sir. You're getting lost. and I need you to find yourself. Okay. Another thing about I was saying about Morag and Luke is Morag, obviously, every single time, you know, she doesn't have no problem telling him about himself or about something. She was she opens her mouth and doesn't have wisdom to shut it. There is a time and a season to open your mouth. A fool speaks and gets slapped because they don't know when and time and season and context when to talk. Okay? Yes, Claus Nation, he's desperate. That's the problem, right? A fool doesn't know when to shut up. And what we're seeing with Morag is she makes comment on everything, and when it's good, it's good. But when it's bad, it's bad. You're driving to Wales, tell me, I like this house, I don't like this house, I like this house, I don't like this house, I really hate this house. And it's like the wording that you use, similarly to Frankie, the wording you use is problematic. Okay? Now he's already feeling some type of way because he's taking you to his house in Wales, and you're already cussing some of the houses already. Right now, granted, his house looked good, so she wasn't you know, stressed when she saw it from the outside. But as soon as she got indoors, Critical Mag came out again. Critical Morag came out again. Critical Morag has to say what's on her mind, and not know that there is a beauty and a grace in being able to shut it. Just keep it quiet. There's a beauty and a grace sometimes in holding your opinion in your mouth. There is a beauty in opinion, holding your opinion in your brain and waiting for the right time. You spoke about everything. Whatever you felt like, you spoke it outwardly. And it may seem like you're an honest person, but you're a brutal person. You might not be telling lies, but you're a brutal person. And the same mouth that you're using to cuss the wallpaper, cuss the flies, cuss the bedroom, is the same mouth you used to tell that someone else had DM'd you a whole year after when you never had to say it. Because your mouth doesn't have boundaries. Loose lips sink ships. You already know that. You know, I always say that. Okay? She's always ready to talk about something. And that's what gets her into trouble. Wisdom is needed to just shut it. Just keep it quiet. Don't talk. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Don't talk. You know what I'm saying? It takes wisdom to know that. Do you get me? So, again, her delivery, just like Frankie, is poor. Alright? Her delivery, Frankie, is poor. Whenever she's discussing issues, and she needs to be able to know that I have to deliver things at the right time, right season, and know that not everything that I think should be said. You're going to kill your boy. He's going to end up dead emotionally, mentally, if you keep going the way you're going, Morag. And again, I speak from this place and saying that Morag, again, the reason why that is so loose and everything like that is because of pain. And a lack of training in the areas of knowing how and when to speak. Okay? Because it's social cues. Knowing when and where and how to speak is social cues. Knowing that you should not say something at this particular time is a social cue. But you get excited and say whatever's on your mind. Darling, we need to curb that. Okay? We need to curb that. Alright, cool. Guys, so we have reached the end of Married at First Sight review. What I'm going to do, I'm going to be on a little bit later. I'm going to come on again. What I'm going to do, I'm going to change it. We're going to do a little Q&A session, relationship talk session. You guys can ask me some questions. We'll just do it for like half an hour, just so you guys can ask some questions and stuff like that. So I'm going to end this live, and I'm going to come back literally in about a minute or two to talk about that. But hey guys, you really know what it is, baby. If you don't follow me on YouTube already, it's Little Black Book 91. You already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. All right then, Pappy's out. All right, appreciate you guys. I'll be back in a few minutes.